President Cyril Ramphosa is addressing families affected by the floods in the Eastern Cape. We cross live to that.
Hierdie oomblik kom keer by hierdie tyd nadat julle hierdie vloede gehad het. My hart is baie seer. Nou die premier sy naam is Oscar Mabuyane. Nou in Engels, nee, hulle is buitekant. Ja, hulle is kinders, hulle is buitekant. In Engels, as hulle mooi describe, hulle sê, hy is delicious.
Ja.
Nou in Afrikaans, dit beteken dat hy is lekker. Nou ek vraag hom altyd, hoekom is hy lekker? En mense wat sê hy is lekker is vroumense. Hy het my nog nie aan antwoord gegee nie. Ek wil net graag sê, by die ministers wat hier is, ons het 'n paar ministers hier, ministers wat met behuising werk, ministers wat met local housing werk, en minister wat met paaie werk. Ons het ook deputy ministers, adjunct ministers, en ek wil ook sê ons het ons mayor hier en ander mense wat vir die regering werk. Toe ek gehoor het en gesien het dat daar was vloede hier, my hart was baie seer. Toe sê ek moet kom, ek moet self kom sien wat het gebeur hier. Want ek was baie jammer, toe hoor ek en sien ek dat baie mense het hulle huise verloor, they lost their property, en 'n paar mense het ook dood gegaan. It touched me a great deal. En toe voel ek moet self kom sien, ek moet almal van julle ook kom sien. Nou, Minister Kubai is responsible for housing. Dat ek ook begin, the minister van local, we call it cooperative governance, who is really responsible for local government and other things. She is the one who is largely responsible for disasters. As ons sulke situasies het, haar department is the department that must take responsibility for disasters. Now, we are continuing to have disasters throughout the country. The Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal are the two, and Western Cape to some extent, are the two provinces that continue to have disasters and floods, flooded, like what you have had here. And Minister Tembing Kadimeng's department is the one that should respond through our National Disaster Department. We have a National Disaster Department that should always be ready to respond, but they work with other departments, Department of Human Settlement, the Department of Roads and Social welfare as well. So they work together, hulle moet almal saamwerk to deal with disasters like the one that we have had here. Now the problem with it all is what we call climate change. Climate change that is now being experienced in South Africa is such that even in summer, in winter we have heavy rains. It never used to happen in the past. It is now happening to us. Usually we have rains in the Western Cape. Now it's happening even in Gauteng, where I stay. We've had heavy rains there as well. And when there is snow in Lesotho, the home of snow, we all get cold, but now it is accompanied by rain. Now the rain causes a lot of disaster and damage. And that's why we are here. That's why we are where we are. Nou, ek weet dat het groot damage gedoen hier in hierdie plek. Nou, the government, die regering moet kom help. En die regering gaan help. Ek kan julle vertel dat die regering gaan julle almal help. Soos julle gehoor het, die minister van behuising het gesê, ja, sy is baie jammer, ons het nie gou help gebring nie. Maar ons gaan dit bring, and within 30 days, we will have provided temporary housing for those who have lost their houses within a period of 30 days. In the meantime, we will have accommodation for those who have been displaced. And we are grateful. We're grateful that we have our churches. En ek wil net baie dankie sê vir die kerk hier dat hulle het deurgekom het om die mense te help. We say thank you very much. And thank you very much. Ons wil ook baie dankie sê vir ander mense soos as the gift of the givers. The gift of the givers, hulle is baie goed. Hulle roer baie gou when there are disasters like this. And in a way, they move faster than us in government. Hulle vaai sommer gou. En ons sê baie dankie vir hulle. They do so because they are small, they are nimble, and then hard to baie gou. Ons is baie dankbaar dat ons het 'n organisasie soos the gift of the givers, because they have come to help a great deal. We found that they have helped. They've come in at the right time to provide food. This is what they did. When we went to some of the stores around to say, oh, Pick n Pay, can you help me? Checkers, can you help me? To say hulle vir ons, nee, gift of the givers was al klaar hier. Julle is laat. Hulle is baie slim. Hulle het al klaar hier gekom om help te kom vra. So we thank gift of the givers, but ons sê ook baie dankie na hulle, want ons werk saam. We work together in many other places, even overseas. As you might know, we also go to a place like Gaza, in Palestine, in the Middle East. Where we go, they also are already there, helping many other people who are suffering. So ons sê baie dankie to gift of the givers for the work that they do. Now coming back here to government, the Premier and the people in the MEC's office in the government here in the Eastern Cape were briefing me this morning, and they tell me that the damage is quite extensive. It runs into billions and billions of rands. When we assess it, we now assess it that it might even be 5 or 6 billion rand. Die paaie is gedamaged, baie huise is ook gedamaged, and including factories. From here I'm going to Volkswagen. Even Volkswagen suffered some damage, bridges have fallen, roads have been cut in between. So this rain caused quite a lot of damage. And it's an act of God, it's climate change. We should not really be having 230 millimeters of rain in 2 hours. We've never really had so much rain in just a matter of 2 hours, where everything is that washed away. A dam was damaged, the roads were damaged, a canal that usually flows water normally and quietly is also damaged. So this is an act of God that has descended on us. Now all we need to do as government, soos 'n regering, ons moet ons mense help. En ons gaan dit doen. Ons gaan ons mense help. Want dit is nie ons mense se fout nie. Nou moet die regering inkom en help en ons mense help. Nou, die help gaan so gaan. National departments, hulle is hier, the ministers is hier van Union Buildings, from Pretoria. En die premier is ook hier met die MEC's wat dit handwerk. En die local government, die mayor is ook hier. Waar is die mayor? Daar sê. Daar die man met 'n mooi das. Hy lyk baie mooi vandag. Ek het nie my das gebring nie, maar hy wil net beter lyk as my. Ek weet nie hoekom nie. Ek weet nie, he's already a mayor. He's already a mayor. I still have to be voted in as president. Now he's already a mayor, and he's showing off with this tie. So the local government is here, the provincial government is here, and all the departments, as well as the national departments. And I have also come. Now, the extent of the damage is huge. Apart from this, so that you know, we are a national government. The other area where there's been extensive damage is KwaZulu-Natal, KZN, our other province. They also had a tornado and some rain. It has devastated a fairly large place. Houses have been damaged and all that. Even there, the government is going to go in and help. So please treat this as a disaster that has befallen us. It's a disaster, and we are going to deal with it as a disaster. And the government is going to come in and help as much as possible. Obviously, the sad part is that there are people who have died. And we as government are going to help those families where people have died. And our social department, social welfare department is going to support those families as much as we possibly can and make sure that burials do happen. Now, there are people who are injured, who are in hospital, who have had to go to hospital, and we are going to make sure that they get good health care. whilst they are in hospital. Now, those people who have become displaced, who have lost their homes, their property, and everything else, we are going to make sure that, yes, they are put in a safe place and moved from that safe place to temporary accommodation, which we are in the process of preparing and building. And within 30 days, the Department of Human Settlements, of Housing in other words, will make sure that all this is taken care of. Nou wil net sê dat ja, dit is baie seer, ek is baie jammer dat ons hierdie situasie het, maar ek wil net sê, die regering gaan met julle hierdie pad loop. Die regering gaan sorg dat hierdie probleme wat julle nou het, ons moet al die probleme oplos. Ons gaan dit doen. It will happen as we solve problems. There will always be weaknesses and gaps here and there. I just want to say our mayor and his staff on the ground, and our MECs will always be there. Hulle sal altyd daar wees om al die probleme wat op sal kom, hulle sal almal van hulle probeer oplos. And I want to thank the pastor, the church, and there are a few churches that have been very helpful. I want to thank them for being there to support us. And I know that even if there are other problems that remain here and there, they will always be there to help. As I came in, I also saw that quite a lot of cooking is happening, meaning that food is being prepared, and obviously you would prefer to eat in your own homes. But I know that in a time like this, food needs to be provided, and I was glad to see that it is being provided. I want to thank our security personnel, our police as well. Our police have been very, very supportive. They've been very helpful, and I want to strengthen their hand dat hulle moet aangaan met die goeie werk wat hulle doen. Ek wil almal van julle baie dankie sê, because you've been patient, you've been understanding, en ek wil net baie dankie sê dat ek sien julle as mense wat verstaan. Ek sien julle as mense wat mooi verstaan waar ons is. What I can promise you, ons gaan julle nie net so los nie. Ons gaan sorg dat al die probleme moet opgelos word. So, baie dankie. Ek is net jammer dat julle 'n bietjie lang hier gewag het before I arrived. But I was being briefed, and I arrived from Johannesburg, from Pretoria, and I hope to come back again. Dat ek sal weer terugkom om te kom sien hoe al die mense wat sê hulle gaan julle help, hoe julle gehelp het.